Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vancouver Real. I am one of your hosts, Mike Zaremba, and as always we are podcasting here out of floathouse.ca, and to my immediate right is my brother Andy.
And today you can't see him on camera. Well, you kind of can. If I look up and I wave at you like this, you can see me because we have 4 guests today, which is pretty badass.
Yes. We usually just have one, but 2 guests on, and us 2 hosting leaves no more mics. This is at capacity.
We have a 5th mic.
No, we don't.
I think we bought a 5th mic. We have a 5th stand. I know that.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe one day we'll set it up.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe not. Anyways, I think I could start off by talking about the first thing is the Vancouver Real Speaker Series that we are launching. And tickets will go on sale next week for that. And we are going to be doing a live and interactive night with a previous Vancouver Real guest named Philip McKernan. And he is pretty epic. I don't know. How would you describe Philip?
Well, I mean, in terms of vocation, he's an author, he's an entrepreneur, kind of like a philosopher kind of guy. And he's just, he's very powerful. He's very about helping people reconnect to their highest potential, really. And he's really good at bringing that out because, like, a lot of us tell internal lies to ourselves and kind of trick ourselves. And he's really good at getting away from those deceptions and making you realize how you're kind of tricking yourself to become the best that you can be.
Yeah, so if you want to check him out, we have him on the podcast. He's on London Real as well. And that event's going to be on April 14th. We have a Facebook event set up, and we will be doing the ticket sales next week. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There'll be a 50% discount, 50% discount for Float House members if you want to come, and everyone else is $30. And it's going to be well worth it. Everyone's going to get a copy of his book and also a notebook to take notes for the night.
Right. So yeah, just for the book alone, it's already a good chunk of the cost, and the night's going to be really powerful. So definitely check it out.
Yeah. And also, I have to give a shout out to the London Real Academy and, of course, the London Real podcast and Brian Rose. Right now, I'm seeing all your stuff on the private LRA feed on Facebook on the page, and they're getting pretty stoked for the summit happening this weekend.
Cool.
I believe. Yes, this weekend. So big shout out to everyone from the London Real Academy, Brian Rose, Nora, our partner over there, Candy, who's going to be helping us out with some of our events in the future. And also Paul Hurley over in Ireland from Dublin Real. What's up,
Paul?
Brother? Had a Skype call with Paul the other day, and he was fucking super cool guy, and he's got an amazing workshop he's going to be announcing really, really soon.
Very cool.
So shout out to LRA, Brian Rose, London Real. Thank you for everything you do. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And so for today's show, we're going to give out a promo code that's kind of representative of our 2 guests, and that promo code is going to be one word, Fight Club, which is 20% off a single float. So floathouse.ca to create a profile and book your floats, and you can use that for 20% savings on your single float. That's Fight Club. And one final plug is for Omega Point YouTube channel. Omid, who helps us behind the scenes here at Vancouver Real, does this really cool YouTube channel where he mishmashes different voices from Graham Hancock, Joe Rogan, Alan Watts into these really cool inspirational videos. And it's just a passion project that he does. So definitely check out Omega Point on YouTube.
Oh, one last thing too.
Oh.
If you guys like what you hear today, give us a rating and review on iTunes. Go to our website, vancouverreal.tv, and just go on to iTunes, go on to Stitcher Radio, and give us a rating and review. And that really helps us kind of get bumped up the rankings in those forums. So it'll help us be more found, and then more people will hear of us. So that's something you can do if you like what you hear today.
All right. Moving on. Enough with plugs. Let's get into the meat of today's episode. We got some meaty men for sure. Today joining us is Tarsis Humphreys and Walter Buse. Walter is the founder of EVBJJ, East Vancouver Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. EVBJJ.com is his website. And Tarsis Humphreys, who he's brought in to train with together, just learning from each other. Tarsis is a very accoladed Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioner and athlete. I'm looking here on your Wikipedia, Tarsis, and I mean, you just got medal after medal dating back to 2007 at the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, the Abu Dhabi World Pro, Brazilian National Champion, World Champion in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So we'll get into more of what you guys have done, but first of all, welcome to Vancouver Real, guys.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. So Walter and Andy and I have known each other for about 6 years now or so. We met actually when we were still doing Jiu Jitsu. Andy's back in it actually, but at North EVBJJ. So that's how we originally met. And at that time you were a purple belt and we were white belts and blue belts. And I must say, even though like you're significantly lighter than both of us, you would always destroy us.
I trained a lot, and you guys came and were giving me more than I could handle. So,
well, we were just kind of like uncaged raging beasts that had no skill, and you're just like, okay, let's muzzle these two tigers. And
I'll never forget one thing you did. It was at the very beginning, like when we were at Ali's old club.
Yeah.
The one on in North Van. At the time, we were a really fresh club still, and there was like myself and Dave were probably the two most competitive. Remember Dave Boyce?
Yeah.
We were like kind of the two most competitive white belts in the club.
Yeah.
And Mark and Jeff were away, and you and Jorge were teaching the class.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you decided you're going to have some super fights in the class. And you're like, Andy and Dave, go. And, we just had like a battle, and not much really happened. We kind of he ended up in my guard, and we were just kind of like wrestling around in that area for a while. And I remember it was really intense. And
you guys are both beasts.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, those days were really fun.
yeah.
Dave.
So, but Walter, we want to have you on for a while now since you opened East Van BJJ, which actually was right around the time we opened Float House, actually. So when did you get involved with opening your own club?
May 2013.
Yeah, that's
May
exactly when we opened Float House.
Is it? Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I know. I remember having a conversation where, like, right when you guys were starting, we went grabbed a hot dog. Was it? One of you guys?
One
of us, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Tarsis. He's on the microphone.
Oh yeah,
microphone patrol.
Microphone patrol. Yeah.
But so we wanted to have you on for a while, and then a mutual friend of ours gave us a great idea, and she's like, why don't you have Tarsis on as well while he's in town? So just kudos out to Jessica for that advice. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. But and Tarsis, you're in town for about a month or so, just kind of feeling Vancouver out and doing some training yourself. But originally you're from Sao Paulo. Is that correct?
Yes. I born in São Paulo, and I'm ready 3 weeks here in Vancouver, almost 4 weeks.
Yeah, and how long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
Almost 20 years.
Right.
I started in 97.
Okay.
So yeah, next year.
So how old were you when you started?
I'm 13 years old.
Cool.
I started in São Paulo with Fábio Gurgel.
Okay.
He's my coach, still being my coach. He's
Right.
the guy that teach me from the white belt to the black belt. And actually, I am his first student in his career as a coach that won the world title at the Worlds since white belt to black belt. He has a lot of world champions in his team, also black belts, but they came as purple or brown or blue belt.
Right.
So
you're the first one that he's brought all the way from white to black and then become a world champion.
Yes, that's true.
Super cool. That's amazing.
Wow.
And
So you're like a direct teaching of like his lineage then.
Yes.
So like a lot of what you know has been passed down directly from him to you.
Yes, exactly. Of course, I absorb a lot of the other techniques from the guys that came too, but yeah, Fabio teach me everything that I know, and of course I pick a lot of other stuff too. But yes, I'm proud to be his student since was a white belt and made all these goals. Like
So Fabio was like your main teacher, main coach, and then who are some of the other bigger influences that you worked with?
Fabio. Well, he's my coach. He's gonna be forever for sure. I will never change for another team. But I think jiu-jitsu is for everybody. You can learn from everybody. You can learn also from videos, from tournaments, like with exchange too, like what I'm doing now with Walter. So I share a little bit of my jiu-jitsu with him. He shared something with me. He brought me to another gym's friends in Abbotsford, in Kelowna. And there is always something that we can pick that we didn't know. This is the most interesting thing in jiu-jitsu because you are always learning and always creating new stuff. That's why I'm so involved in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because I am the kind of guy that doesn't like to do same thing for a long time, you know, like when it didn't change. Imagine like swimming, like for me it doesn't change. It's like still the same thing. But if they invented like
Nothing gets swimming.
every month,
Well, you
like
gotta play like water polo or
different-
something, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
They get really physical. They elbow each other and everything.
Jiu-Jitsu is one of those, martial arts where it continues to evolve and continues to grow. And, it's something that it never changes. But now, Walter, let me ask you this. Like, first of all, when did you get started with Jiu-Jitsu? Because you actually have a background
2005.
in boxing and wrestling and Muay Thai as well, right?
Yeah, not so much boxing, but I wrestled in high school for a few years, and then I did some Muay Thai and stuff. Went to Thailand, but I started Jiu-Jitsu in 2005.
Right, and we should say for people, you're a brown belt at this point in time. So 2005, so that's over 10 years now too. And what people might not realize is like when you're getting a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, when it's like formally kind of earned in the right way. I mean, this is not a new analogy, but a lot of people have made the analogy that it's like getting a PhD. You're literally going and studying this.
I'd say
art.
maybe more, to be honest. Like the
How
amount
about
of
a PhD in and then like your, I don't know, military certification training or something, because it's badass.
yeah.
But you're right.
It's a lot of hours.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. You dedicate your lives to it, basically. And so, a lot of people think like, you got to, going to universities and getting a PhD. It's very prestigious, but learning anything in that detail for that length of time is very prestigious. So we're sitting with a couple of jiu-jitsu doctors in my mind. You know what I mean? In that way, like it's pretty cool. But like for you, Walter, why has jiu-jitsu come to be the one martial art that you dedicated your life to versus Muay Thai or wrestling? Why jiu-jitsu?
It's the one that I was best at. I thought I wanted to do MMA, and there's no better way to say it than I just got knocked the fuck out like a couple times. Like real bad. I took with jiu-jitsu, I took a really good road. I just got lucky. All my coaches were really good, and like I just had a good road. I had started with Trevor, and then I went to GB and trained with Tim, and they had a great crew there, and the environment was really good, and it just like worked for me. And so you just want to spend every day there and whatever. And so the culture was there for me with jiu-jitsu, and so I just got better at it. That just mad hours. Right. And with Muay Thai, it was a bit different. It was like a little bit harder to find like a place where I like really super fit in. Like I had some great trainers as well, but and then the problem with Muay Thai is that like I'm kind of ballsy when it comes to like stepping in the ring and shit like that. And with Muay Thai, that's a lot more dangerous than it is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you get tapped out and see you later, but no problem. But with Muay Thai, I got like, brain injuries and shit. And I was like,
It's not, it's, as exciting as it is and is probably worth, as respectable as it is, it is super dangerous. Like,
it's a bit scarier for me.
Totally.
Yeah. I'd love to like keep going in it. Like I've got some students. I got a guy fighting on Saturday at the battlefield, Curtis Harriet. Cool. Fucking awesome. And I love coaching him. I love the MMA side. Tarsis too's been at the gym, like beating him down and having a sick time. Like it's been great.
Nice.
Love coaching that side of it, but got a little bit scared. I took a main event that I shouldn't have, and you can watch it. You guys should go watch it.
Where can they find it?
Just Google my name, Walter Buse. Walter Buse versus Jamie Gifford. I was supposed to be the prelims, and the guy ended up dropping out. I took the main event card the day before.
Wow.
And you guys were there. You were there.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
No,
there.
one of you guys was there. Yeah, you were there.
I wasn't there.
Oh fuck! I swear.
Did you get knocked out?
Yeah, I got knocked out.
That's what's
I
going
didn't
on.
go to the ground. I got like technical knockout on my feet, but I was, dude. Ask Mark. Mark was helping me, but I think Dave was there too.
Walter Buse is Buse.
Yeah.
So on YouTube.
Yeah, dude. I took 12 hard right hands that changed my life. Made me like jiu-jitsu more than Muay Thai. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, because that's the thing about jiu-jitsu is like,
stuff hurts,
it's known as like the gentle art, right?
Yeah. Safer for sure.
It is, not that injuries can't happen because they most certainly do. I mean, you're actually you're recovering from something right now. From
Tarsis and I both. Dude, he's got a crazy history with some big knee surgeries and shit too. That's why it's good for me to have him here too. It's inspiring. See what he's done, man. You should see this guy's got some crazy.
Just for rehab and stuff like that?
Yeah. Not just rehab, but just like mentality and pushing through and competing like when you're just not at 100% and performing at like the so impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you felt then that, because you had knee surgery, have you felt that having Tarsis in town has
Inspiring. Yeah.
not
it's
only
helped.
inspired, but like actually advanced your healing?
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Right away, he just like grabbed my knee and was like, dude, you just got to believe that you can bend it and
Right.
you will. And yeah, just give me some exercises. And
Yeah.
more than that though, is just like, you know, you see him, you know, competing at Worlds and doing so well, like right after, and you're just like, man, I could do that. Fuck it. He's not that special. Like, you know.
So Tarsis, man, I had a really good question for you. Coming to Canada and you seeing the level of jiu-jitsu here, how would, I mean, I guess everyone says like Brazil is the place to do jiu-jitsu, and that's, I'm so very true. Have you seen a development and a change in how it's coming along in this country, the sport of jiu-jitsu?
Yes, for sure. The level here, that especially at Walter's gym, it's very high. The guys are very technical. I was impressed with the level. I didn't expect that, because Canada maybe was the second place that Jiu-Jitsu came after United States. So it starts in Brazil, then goes to United States, and then Canada. And then I was expecting a little bit like low level or something like that, but I was impressed. Like the gyms that I went, the level are really good. The guys have great potential. The guys are smart, pick the techniques very fast. Even the white belts, when you see their training, they don't know nothing about the technique, but they just go hard. They try their best. They try to pick the techniques and use it. And sometimes it's hard because you see like black belts, they're kind of scared to do stuff or just go like very easy. But the guys here just go and try. And I really like that. I really like this.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you get to a certain level, like even say white belt, and you got like 3 stripes in your belt and you progressed a little bit, at that point you start feeling pretty good because like other white belts come into the club and all of a sudden you can beat people now, right?
Yeah.
And you start thinking you're pretty good. Now, for people that don't really know much about jiu-jitsu, the leap between a white belt and a black belt is insane.
Quantum.
I would even say the leap between like a beginner white belt and a blue belt is pretty huge. Sure. Like, and I remember the first time I ever went into a jiu-jitsu club, I was, and it wasn't like a super technical club. It was kind of a bunch of MMA guys on the mats, just like rolling around and going kind of crazy. So that's what I got thrown into. And I was rolling with this guy. I was about 225 pounds at the time, pretty strong. And I was rolling with a guy who was maybe a blue belt, and he was like 170 pounds, and it was just a nightmare. It was just like getting tapped out like crazy. And that's the thing about jiu-jitsu is like when people don't understand like how badly like somebody can like manhandle you essentially if you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the technique definitely trumps it all. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about it is you can get smaller guys with the skill level who can, you know, take care of the biggest opponent if they don't know anything. You know, that's like it's a special martial art in that way.
Yeah,
probably on
any
any other level.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, I mean, going back to your kind of comments on the level of jiu-jitsu here in Vancouver and in Canada, I mean, that's probably a large part due to the fact that you, Walter, were down training. That's how you guys met, down at Fabio's gym with Alliance in Sao Paulo. You were down there for like 7 months, something like that?
8 months, I think, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, and because that's kind of what, when you came back, that's when you started EVBJJ. So what about going down there for you at that time in your life, learning what you did and taking your game to that next level? What about that kind of inspired you to jump into creating EVBJJ? Like, what was it down there that was just like so transformational?
I went there with the idea of opening a gym. I actually was talking to Mark before I went, and I was like, dude, I want to open a gym. And Mark was training with Fabio at that time. He'd been down there a few times. Actually, Mark knows Tarsis.
Cool.
And Mark was like, dude, go to Alliance. They do things really well, and Fabio's a good coach. So that's why I went down there. And then when I got there, I always wanted to see jiu-jitsu on like a Olympic kind of scale. You know what I mean? Because in Vancouver, our level's getting like quite good for sure. Like we were at Jason's gym yesterday in Abbotsford Genesis, and it's like, damn, these guys are good. And Jay's a monster. And lots of guys, right? Like it's not just East Van or whatever, but there's tons of good jiu-jitsu. But the difference is massive. You know what I mean? Like going to Sao Paulo is like you got 26 black belts on the mat. You know, 10 of them are world champions, and the class is something else. It's something else. And Fabio's a different cat. He's like, the way he leads is military. It's like for competition training, like he's got it all sorted, right? He's got the module 1, like your first day, man, you'll be taken care of, your hand will be held, and it'll be great. But once you get into the comp class, he says, if you guys are here to have fun, this isn't the place. Get out of here. You know, we're here. If you're here to win a world championship, like be ready. Like, and so.
How intense is the training that you've gone through over the past, for most of your life?
Oh yes, like I was very competitive since I was a kid. Like in any sport, nothing crazy. I know how to lose and deal with that too, but I always like to compete and push myself to the limit all the times. I like that, and then I found Jiu-Jitsu as the sport that I really like it, and feels like this sport is for me, because actually Jiu-Jitsu is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're short, if you're tall, if you weigh 300 pounds, if you weigh 150 pounds. Everybody can make your own style in Jiu-Jitsu, and that's the most interesting thing. And then you have a lot of diversity of people. It's not like some sports that you need to be short or you need to be longer to be a good guy. It doesn't matter. Like you can your body type.
Yeah, you can kind of make your own game up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really nice about Jiu-Jitsu. And what's the question? Yeah, sorry.
How intense?
My question is like, how intense like is the training like that you've gone through? Like how many sessions a day plus like weights and different things that you would do? Like let's say you're training for a world championship. What would that look like?
So like in all my career, I did like a lot of different kind of trains. I think today, with my age, I'm 32 years old now, I found the perfect train for me. But in my life, I did a lot of things like weightlifting, very like intense, like to gain more power, protect my body against some to hurt myself. And Jiu-Jitsu, like I don't think I think still kind of the same thing, like from the years, like 2 hours of train every day. But when I was younger, I just tried to expand as much time as I have free inside the gym, because it's my passion. That's what I love to do. So when I got to vacation in the school, I didn't want to travel or go to the beach or go party. I wanted to train 3 times a day.
Wow.
Because I really love it. That's what I want. And then I got really happy doing that. So I spent a lot of hours inside the mat, a lot of hours in the last 20 years.
It's kind of true with anybody who does any kind of sport professionally or to that level, Olympic athletes, whatever it happens to be. The amount of dedication, I don't think a lot of people in the general public really know exactly how much dedication goes into something like that. Oh, yeah.
Like for a lot of times, we have the carnival in Brazil, like every February most times, and people go to the beach, drink a lot, and have a lot of parties. I dedicate my time with the Jiu-Jitsu. I didn't have all these parties. I didn't party as much as I want because of the Jiu-Jitsu, because I know my performance will be bad. I need to be focused. I need to be healthy. I need to sleep right and eat right. So, yeah, I lost a lot of things that maybe normal teenagers or kids used to do. I always try to have a balance in my life. But of course, I dedicate much more of my life in the Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, and that's why you're seeing the success you're seeing now. You know, you've put in that hard work and dedication. Yeah. What would you say is like your biggest tournament memory? Like your kind of your best victory or maybe best fight, not even a victory, your best fight that you had in a tournament. Is there any one that sticks out to you that was like, that was one that I'll never forget?
There's a lot of fights, to be honest, but I think my best moments was in 2009 and also in 2010. Was like I kind of reinvent myself. I put myself I just decided I'm going to train Jiu-Jitsu, and that's going to be my job. That's it. I'm going to be there 100%, focus in the Jiu-Jitsu. No jokes, no play, no nothing. Just give my 100% in the mats and outside the mats. At that time, I was doing the conditioning, Olympic weightlifting for my conditioning. It was very good, very explosive. And then I said, I'm going to dedicate 5 months of my life just for Jiu-Jitsu. No parties, no girlfriend, Nothing. Train and eat and sleep. I'm gonna try that and see what's gonna be the results. I did that for 5 or 6 months straight, non-stop. I trained like Olympic weightlifting almost every day and jiu-jitsu every day. For 5, 6 months. And then like I was kind of, Tarsis just got 2nd place, 3rd place in the biggest tournaments. And then I just show up at this tournament. It was in Abu Dhabi. It was the first event there for the Abu Dhabi World Pro. It's like a huge tournament. And then I show up, anybody like really cares about me. Tarsis is not that dangerous or something like that. So they didn't really believe in me. And then because of that, they create the como é que é a chave? The
Brackets.
The brackets, and they put Tarsis over there. It's okay. Like,
So was it like a division in terms of your skill level, they thought?
Kind
weight
of.
class?
No, they know like the guys, like some guys, like at that time, Braulio Stima was the name. He was winning every tournament in his category, and also the open class. The open class, there is no weight limit in the black belt. So guys with 300, 400 pounds, whatever, or guys with 100 pounds going to be there. Is open to every black belt. And this is the hardest one you can have. And then I just was there, very quiet, don't talk with nobody. And I like to be like the zebra from the fight, you know what I mean? The underdog.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We call zebra.
I don't know what you mean. Now
I'm like, so you like to have stripes?
you want to be the ref?
Okay, we use
the ref.
In Brazil, we use zebra.
Gotcha.
It's the underdog.
Cool, I like it.
Yeah. And then I kind of like
sense.
that.
Zebra's
And then I
got
was
hunted.
like very focused on my food and I was ready. I feel strong. And then I did the right things. I got the open class world title. I got also in my category. And that was the best moment. I just won the biggest tournament, professional tournament ever in the jiu-jitsu
And
history.
that's Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah, that was Abu Dhabi.
And from my understanding, that's probably the most prestigious one out there these days. Still, right?
Let me ask you guys this.
We have
What's-
two. Like, it's very
what's the difference between
prestigious.
the Combat Club and the World Pro? Abu Dhabi Combat, ADCC, and then the
The
Abu Dhabi.
ADCC was the first tournaments that the Sheikh from Abu Dhabi starts.
That's that Prince guy, right?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
yes, he did like a grappling tournament, so it's no gi tournament.
Okay.
And then he invited the best grapplers in the world, and he created that tournament. It's the first one and the biggest one. He put a lot of money on the guys. It's like the organization is amazing. Everything is like he give a great value for jiu-jitsu.
And I just want to elaborate on that for people who aren't in the jiu-jitsu world. So this super rich Arabian prince guy he loved jiu-jitsu so much. He's like, I'm going to fly in, bring all the best practitioners, all the best grapplers in the world to Abu Dhabi and throw this private tournament and just, invite only, right? Or you have to like kind of qualify.
At that time, the first edition, I think, was like invited only, but of course he invited the best ones in the world, and then they start to make trials and stuff.
Like that reminds me of like Mortal Kombat. Remember the movie Mortal Kombat where the guys like you get to come, they bring in all these guys. Like it's so crazy that they actually did it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's
It goes far beyond that too.
really.
Yeah, well, outside of that, they now hire, how many black belts do they have over there?
Oh, and now is jiu-jitsu, it's mandatory in all the schools. It's like maths or English. The students need to practice jiu-jitsu.
All because of this guy.
It's,
He was like, I'm going to hire every freaking black belt.
you need to learn
pay them the
jiu-jitsu.
best
If you do
salary.
not have the sufficient test, how to say, score in jiu-jitsu, you stay in that year.
In their school system.
Yeah.
Yes. Every
They're going to be a
every
powerhouse.
kid
They're going to be a
need
powerhouse.
to learn
a lot of guys
jiu-jitsu.
from Alliance Sao Paulo have been recruited over there, and guys from all over the world, but mostly like top level black belt Brazilians. They're all working there. They're making
The history about
kinds of
this
cash. Yeah, it's good.
is not just because he just loves jiu-jitsu, but the jiu-jitsu just put him very close to his son, because they didn't have too much a good relationship. I can't say that, but that's what I heard. But I think his kid is just playing video game, has like his own life, and then the jiu-jitsu put the father and the kid together, and this for him there is no price for that.
Right.
And jiu-jitsu did that, so that's why he loved jiu-jitsu.
And it's super true, man. Like there's something about jiu-jitsu. Like if you can get over the first couple months when you first start jiu-jitsu, because it's very humbling, to really just, you have to dedicate yourself to be getting beaten up for like a couple months, like not like punched in the head, but just you lose all the time, over and over and over again. You're tapping out. You have to just acknowledge your feudalism at that time, and going through that process and actually getting through it creates a really unique individual, man or woman. You know what I mean? It creates a really unique person because you recognize that even though there's people that look physically inferior to you and smaller or whatever, if they have more skill, like we kind of mentioned before, they'll tap you out. And so it kind of makes a lot of practitioners of jiu-jitsu very just humbled in a lot of ways, which is a really attractive part of the sport to me and the guys that get involved with it. And I actually want to jump into a little bit, some questions about EVBJJ as your club, because your club kind of has a couple, different, I'd say, faces. One is like the competitive side of it. Like you're probably the best competitive school, I'd say, in Vancouver, British Columbia for sure, maybe even Canada. But then you also have like an amazing children's program, So it's kind of a unique balance you're kind of working there. So can you talk a bit about first the competition side of EVBJJ and then maybe your children's program?
Sure. Yeah. So the competition side is where I focus most of my energy. So because I studied business and then I did, I worked in a few little jobs and stuff like that I wasn't super stoked on. And like, I think there's more money to be made other places in jiu-jitsu. But the competition side is what I fell in love with. And that's what Fabio does the whole thing well, but that's what he does best. He's got like a stable of these guys. And, so that's what I wanted to bring back, and just a higher level. That's my passion, is bringing like that next level of jiu-jitsu. And so far I've done a good job of that. Tarsis is here. We had Bernardo Faria come recently. Fabio Gurgel's coming in a couple of weeks. It's my coach and his coach. He's going to be here, which is super stoked on.
Do you want to do a podcast?
Yeah, that would be sick. Actually, I think he's only here for a day, unfortunately. But if we could organize that,
try.
I don't know if you could squeak him in,
dude. We might be able to.
What days is he here?
He's out here on a Tuesday, so he's here for a day.
What's the date?
March 22nd.
Fuck, I'm gone. Maybe you could make it happen.
Maybe
it would be sick.
He really should try. He's a very interesting guy.
Yeah, very interesting guy.
All right,
for sure. So. Yeah, that's been my focus, and people have really gravitated to it. At first, I was like, dude, I'm going to open this competition school, and we're going to be the best team. We're going to have the best team in Canada. And people are like, why would people? You're a brown belt, dude. Like, why are people going to? I was like, dude, because I compete. I'll fight anyone, and I'll train, and I know what I have to do to get there, and it's happened. So we've got tons of good competitors.
Yeah,
I've got a guy. Well, Brody's at Cabrina's right now. He's fighting Pans in a minute. He's gonna win Pan Ams. Like, I'm very sure of it. He's
cool,
on fire. And I wouldn't say that unless I really believed it.
And that's Brody Dobb, who you're referring to. He's actually one of our Float House sponsored athletes. And another sponsored athlete is Cena, who works with you.
Cena's a beast, man. He just won Revolution.
I talked with him last week after his float, and it was really cool because he's like, he was training at another club in Vancouver, and he competed against you in a tournament. And he said, once I felt Walter and how just his skill and his strength and power and how he kept saying how heavy you are, and that means in jiu-jitsu terms like how much pressure you put on people. So as soon as I felt that, I'm like, I have to go train with this guy, because he just wasn't getting that at his other club, And I think that's really what, from what I understand, what you brought back from working down in Sao Paulo with Fabio, and just learning like that next level of the competitive nature, and then bringing that to Vancouver and starting EVBJJ and becoming like the top, or one of the top competition schools in Canada for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And like anyone who wants to get to that next level and like compete seriously they're going to have to go to EVBJJ, if that's what you're calling. So, but on the other side of that though is like the children's program, which is, I'm sure, just take us through your kind of approach with that and the philosophy of getting jiu-jitsu to children and kids.
So, so before, we're just starting with kids now, because ever since the beginning, people say like, hey man, all the money's in the kids, and then cardio, kickboxing, and this and that, and all these things. And really, like I said, the beginning was just, I'm not looking for the best way to get rich here. I'm trying to like create something real, and like the money will come later. And so we did that, and we got the base, and now I have the support and the people, so I can start getting really into the kids program. And the same thing goes with the kids, man. It's not about making money. It's not about babysitting. It's not about, like how do we, get people to sign up? It's not that. It's actually about, creating talented kids and teaching them, what elite training looks like, and taking, a 3 to 6 year old to be playing games that'll build their confidence, their stability, their base, that sort of thing. And, just jiu-jitsu games, then moving them through the program, like, going 7 to 10 years old, really starting to implement maybe 60% jiu-jitsu and what have you, and really teaching good, solid stuff, and trying to get them to feed into the adult program and get, that's the future, right?
It's such a great thing.
Really going to spend our time there.
I think it's such a healthy thing for children to do. Playing sports or doing something competitive like that as a young child teaches them so many valuable life skills. Even if they don't continue on with jiu-jitsu, you're creating people that are going to be just better off in the world. They're going to be more confident. They're going to have a work ethic. They're going to understand the idea of like setting a goal and reaching a goal. And those are all values you're actually instilling in those children early on. And not to mention, you're creating, especially with martial arts, there is a sense of honor with the whole thing as well. And you're creating people that like are not going to go and abuse that. And in fact, and it'll give them a certain level of confidence, like in the school system. They don't have to worry about being bullied or something like that. They're gonna have the skills to deal with any situations that come up.
Benefits are huge.
Yeah.
And for life too, I think it's very important because it's always like that. You need to deal with victories and losses, and
right.
That's how it is.
Perseverance.
Yeah, and jiu-jitsu is the best simulation for that. Like, for me, brought like a huge confidence. Sometimes we have some problems in life, and I just, I'm going to do exactly what I do in jiu-jitsu when I'm in a bad situation. Like, take a deep breath, like, let's think clearly, no rush. And then I always find out a good way to get out from the jiu-jitsu situation or this bad situation in life or something, and always work. Like, I think it's perfect. Like,
Tarsis, what you just said there, take a deep breath, think clearly, and then get out of the situation. That's pretty much a formula you can use in any area of your life, right?
Yes,
that's something you learn in jiu-jitsu, I find. And the other thing, one value I got out of it was just being comfortable in uncomfortable positions, and realizing when you're getting crushed down by an Alexander Boldazar, our mutual friend that I don't know if you ever met Alex. He's been on the podcast a few times. Very, very strong. He's just a tank. He's just built like a tank. He's meant to, I don't know, run through walls or something. He's the Hulk, right? And when you're getting crushed down by a man like that, and you can barely breathe, and you're worried that you might break something in your skull, and you find a little bit of breathing room, and you're like, oh, actually, I'm okay right here.
Yeah.
It's such a valuable lesson, right?
Yeah.
Right there in life. And I think, with your success that you've had in jiu-jitsu, you can apply that kind of formula to success in almost anything in life.
Yeah, I believe that.
So if someone's looking, to do jiu-jitsu or sport or anything, what would you say are the biggest keys to being successful in whatever anybody's doing?
So there's a lot of things, but of course, keep calm. You're always gonna find like things that's gonna block your goal, and things that's gonna help you. And I think you cannot be a guy that always be in like a comfortable situation. Sometimes you need to leave this comfortable situation and deal with bad things and try to solve that. And never give up about your goal, what you want to do. Like, there's always a way to solve your problems. So I think the best way to do that is always keeping calm. I know sometimes you're desperate, but this is never going to help you. I guarantee to you that's not going to help you. That's going to be another problem. So that's the way I think. I have one problem. Okay, focus on that and keep calm. You don't want to have more problems. You don't want to be anxious or angry or something. It's going to have another problem. Then you need to calm down. Then you need to focus on yourself. And then you start again to think about the problem. So I think always being calm and be a nice person and just like find out the best way to do this stuff is the formula. Like, I don't think there's like a formula that everybody can use it, but just try to be like relaxed and calm, no stress.
I think having that
you know?
clarity, like whatever situation you're in your life, having a level of clarity and calmness, it allows you, it gives you a starting point to decide which way I want to go, to see the reality of any situation for what it is, and then making a conscious choice from where to go from there, you know? So I think that's very astute for sure.
I think for me as a coach, two things that I've seen that make the difference between my students who are more successful in those is two things. Is one is consistency, is just staying on track. Like with jiu-jitsu, obviously, is just like the more you train, the better you get, period. You know, Instagram doesn't help. Selfies, you know what I mean? Taking pictures of your food is not a big, you know what I mean? All that stuff is good. You need to do it for advertising what happened if you're going to do it as a career. But what matters is really, you know, spending time on the mat and being consistent. That's number one. And two, like you were saying before, is, and I'd be interested in coming to that event. I'd like to hear more about it with this.
Philip McKernan.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Like it's going to be a really cool event because a lot of people, everybody, you know, has these stories that they are either conscious of or mostly unconscious of. Like we get into these habits and these patterns of behaviors where we block ourselves. You know, we block ourselves from doing. The biggest obstacle in your life is probably you. You know, to get after whatever you want. And he's really, really good at revealing that to people, you know. And you still got to do the work. You still got to recognize, okay, I'm doing that behavior again. So let's bring it back. Let's, you know, and then just catch it. Just creating more awareness about whatever your blocks are, you know. So yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have to get it out to your community and the BJJ community because like,
we'll get people out for sure. I want my students here. You know, that's the kind of, because that's the other thing. So I was going to say consistency, and then the other thing is you need to be looking for what scares you so that you can target that. You know what I mean? And for me, like competitions are very humbling because you can be, man, I can make myself a world champ on Facebook. As far as the, you know, the average population goes, like I could be a white belt and I can be the best freaking, I know people who are sponsored for jiu-jitsu who don't know how to do jiu-jitsu. Like I'm just not going to name names here, but you know, if your Instagram is on point, you're killing it. You know what I mean? In terms of, but the reality of it is go step on the mat, go shake hands regularly. Don't choose your fights. Just go into your division and go compete. And when you're ready for the next one, go put the next belt on and go in there. And that's the difference, I think. And that happens in life too, is like you can stay, you know, where you are and survive and talk about how great you are and how much better you would do than Conor McGregor and how much, you know, how you wouldn't have tapped out and how, you know, if you know, were selling that product, you would do such a better job of marketing and what have you, but go fucking market it.
Go do it.
You know what I mean? Go do it. Go step up to the plate.
Yeah.
That's
one thing, on that McGregor fight, man, that finish was
crazy.
Fucking
awesome.
Oh, wow. I love how he punched his head to get to sink the choke in. He went, bum, bum. You know, I don't know. It was incredible.
Yeah, we're not bloodthirsty or anything, but we enjoyed that.
It was beautiful in its own way.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was fantastic, really. Dude. And look at Nate Diaz making $500,000 and telling everybody to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Is that an actual technique that he did to set him up for the choke? Because you said, like he punched his head and then he slipped his arm in. Is that if you were doing MMA? Was that strategy or is that something he improv?
I think it's part of the strategy, like because that's what they are there for, like to punch their faces. Like they chose that, like that's their choice. Okay, so at some point when you're there, the guy wants to hurt you, and you try to hurt the guy. Because they agree that. That's the sport. Yeah, and then when he got in that dominant situation, of course, he took some advantage of that, like punching Conor's face. And then when he saw the opportunity to use his jiu-jitsu, because Nate and Nick, they really like jiu-jitsu. They really play jiu-jitsu. They are good jiu-jitsu fighters. So that's so easy. Like, I have an opportunity to finish this right now. Why not? So that punch, open the space. Okay, let's do. Boom. Yeah. Finish fight. Maybe if he was there just punching, Conor bump, taking him out, and the fight starts again. So when you have the control, have the chance, why not pick that chance? Like, and I think that's what he did, you know.
I got a question for you, Walter. Have you ever noticed since you've opened EVBJJ, like after you see something like, because there's 2 big jiu-jitsu wins this past weekend on the UFC. Do you ever see like a little more interest in your emails and phone calls? Yeah.
Well, especially after this one.
Really?
Yeah, right away.
That's so cool.
People want to learn it, and like people you don't expect to. That's who it is, because we always get guys like, "Hey man, I've been training for a few years. I want to step up my game." Our gym's got a good reputation. We get guys like that quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But when you get the sort of mainstream starting to come in, and the calls come in after the UFCs for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely affects.
I saw that picture. That's a picture of Connor with a bunch of children, and he's learning jiu-jitsu.
We're passing around.
That's his Connor
and
Holly Holm, and the other guy that Cody or something like that.
That's so funny.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Connor did not have a strong jiu-jitsu background or wrestling, did he?
No, I think his main thing is boxing.
I was just listening to Eddie Bravo on Joe Rogan's podcast this past week. He was just on like yesterday, I think, and he was talking a lot about it. He says Connor's jiu-jitsu is very good. He's actually trained with Connor, but Nick's is just on a whole nother level.
Yes. And of course the weight is
there's the weight, and
20
then also
pounds,
Connor was hurt. He got punched. He was wobbly, and Nick, had an amazing control when he had him in mount, and just you give a guy with that amount of skill in that advantageous position when you're kind of already hurt. Mm-hmm. It's inevitable, really. When he's able to just apply the skill that
for sure, Nate's jiu-jitsu is way better than Connor, for sure.
Right.
What level would you put Nate at? Like, if he was just to go straight into jiu-jitsu tournaments, could he go to a world-class level or not quite?
No, I don't think so.
No,
it's different stuff. Like when you fight MMA, you need to be very good in 3 aspects: it's the striking, the takedowns, and jiu-jitsu. So let's suppose that you put 33% in each one. And when you go to a jiu-jitsu tournament, you need to be 100%. So he needs more 66, 67%. For technique, the timing and that stuff. He can do good, but I don't believe, like, if I go to a wrestling tournament, I can take down some people, or opponents. But if I go like to a wrestling tournament,
not gonna happen.
They specializing on that, like all their time is that. They don't even think about choke or arm bars, anything. They just think about put you down. And so I think like if he trains jiu-jitsu and go for that, for sure he has like big chances.
So he could. You're just basically saying that he has to focus on different areas, whereas you guys are just focusing on just straight jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if like I go to a MMA fight with Nate, like my only chance is going to be the jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. I'm not that good in boxing. I'm not that good in wrestling. I know some, but I need to train much more to give this guy a bad time.
You think you beat him in jiu-jitsu?
Oh yeah, for sure. Sorry, Nate.
Awesome, cool.
But I can.
That's cool.
Sorry, Nate, but I can. That's true.
We got. I don't know. Do you know any kind of?
Fuck you, Nate.
That's Walter Buse, East Fan, BJJ.
Call out, Gracie Challenge.
If he's even listening to this, that'd be incredible.
Yeah,
dude, much respect to Nate, man.
Yeah. Oh man,
love that guy.
I'm a big fan
really
of him.
Cool, man. So lovable. Yeah. He's obviously got a lot of people who probably don't love him as well. But he's such a cool guy. He keeps it real and
he never changes how he is.
Yeah.
He's who he is.
Sticks to his guns.
Yeah, he's genuine in his way. Like
Tarsis, I want to ask you, what's the biggest? So the biggest name when I was looking around on the internet of guys who you fought, the biggest name I saw was Roger Gracie.
Yes.
Is that probably the biggest name you've ever fought? Would you say?
No, I fought like these guys you can imagine of all generations.
Really?
Like, I fought Saulo Ribeiro, I fought Xande, I fought Rodolfo Vieira, Bochecha, I fought who you just said now? Roger Gracie.
Yeah.
I fought all the guys, man. All the high level jiu-jitsu guys. I have fought with them. I lost some fights. I won some fights.
Were there any that who was the most kind of not starstruck to you, or most like intimidating? Did you ever have those moments where it's like, holy shit, I'm fighting this guy?
Like when I go to my fights, like I really believe in me. Like it doesn't matter how many submissions the guy has or how many world titles. I really believe in my game, and I need to believe in that, and I go 100%. I don't get scary or anything. Like if I go there, I know what I'm doing. Like I'm prepared.
Yeah, you're focused.
And that's the way I think. Like
Can I ask you a question? This is my own ignorance. Like, where are you kind of ranked in the world right now in terms of jiu-jitsu?
My rank, last year, I just got second place in the Worlds. I just came back from a knee surgery. I had like 4 or 5 months to really train for the tournament. And then I got second place.
Wow.
Cool. I update a lot of my game too. I came with a good strategy. I came with a very good conditioning. And
like, you know how they say they might rank you. So in the worlds, right? In the world's competition. So you came second in your weight class and belt division for that.
Yes.
In the worlds, right? So would that put you at like number 2 in the world then?
Yes, I think till now for the worlds, yes. I'm the second place. They have kind of
do you know what I'm saying?
I know. You're talking about the
ranking.
IBJJF ranking?
Yeah.
The IBJJF ranking wouldn't really pertain to him because it's just you get points for winning tournaments, and he only competed at Worlds.
Yeah. That's the only tournament that I competed last year.
Yeah.
So by points in this Grand Prix ranking, I'm not that good. But in terms of the Worlds fighter, yes, I'm the second name for medium heavy.
Yeah.
And this year I'm gonna try to be the first again.
It's amazing.
When are you competing again?
It's gonna be in June.
June.
I think 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th
Yeah, cool.
of June. Yeah.
Very cool. And do you think, Walter, when you get fully healed up, are you going to come back to competition as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Definitely, right?
100%.
That's amazing.
I want to compete at Worlds Masters this year.
Yeah.
That's my first.
When is that
tournament
one?
I hope it's in August. Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
my goal. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Pretty
Cool.
far away from it now, but
That's all right.
So you'll get there, man.
Shoot for the moon.
I'm doing my rehab every
the
day.
stars, yeah.
Working hard for it. Yeah.
Cool.
So, who was one of the most fun guys that you ever rolled with? I know, they always talk about like Marcelo Garcia just being like this really fun guy, but he's just deadly on the mats. Anyone come to mind like that?
Oh, the guy that and a really, really is a fun guy, but I didn't have the chance to roll with him. It's a guy from like old school. His name is Marcio Cruz. Pé de Pano is his nickname. This guy is so fun, man. It's like yeah, he's so fun. There's another guy from our team now. He's living actually in Abu Dhabi, teaching some guys from the army over there and some kids too. And his name is Antonio Peinado Batista. This guy is so funny, always making fun of anything, like you said. And he's a beast in the mats too. He's really good, man. He's really good.
I can't even really comprehend how technical your game must be. I think it would be such an interesting experience to go on the match with someone like you, because I'm sure when I think of a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner, I think of like Mark for a lot of times, right? And Mark, he's definitely very good for sure. It'd be interesting to see what that's like. I'm always like,
hey, bro, there's only one way to find out.
That's true. There is only one way to find out. It's just like
go down to EVBJJ.
It's just always cool just to see like that gap and like the difference and what it would feel like. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you've spent so much time training. And it's a relatively safe way to do it because I trust you. I don't think you're going to break my arm or something.
No, for sure not.
He knows just the right amount.
You know what? You can answer that if you want. But what I'll say is that the feeling actually between someone like Mark and someone like Tarsis, it's not crazy. It's not like, Mark's a freaking genius with jiu-jitsu, man. He's good. He's been doing it for a very long time. He's had great coaches and the difference from a someone who's not, quite at their level is it's actually hard to tell, right? I mean, Tarsis' pressure is obviously more, but I think the big difference, and Tarsis comes, and we have like good guys who will give him a match. Like I can hold on to Tarsis for a minute, we can have a match. We can make him sweat as well. But I think that what I've been trying to figure out as a coach is there is a difference, and you can feel it, but it's not a crazy feeling. But you can feel the difference, and what is that last? Because like, getting to 95%, that's where Mark is. Getting to 97%, that's where Mark is. That's where hopefully I'm starting to get to. And then there's like 3% left or 5% left. And that's the difference between these guys. And it's not super easy to feel right away. Like obviously you roll them and you're like, damn, you're a beast. And like the techniques he shows aren't going to be that much different either. But like there is that last 5%. And that's what I've spent the last 3 weeks. Just like, what exactly is it? Why can, when I fight a guy, I can give him a good match. And when you fight him, you beat him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And this is a funny thing, and like this is from my little experience that I've had, is that there's just certain guys that you just match up better against. you know.
But
And-
there's
and, like,
something more than that, though.
Do you think there's like an experience thing? Do you think there's like someone that's been training 20 years, 20 plus
that's what it
years
is,
versus 10
For
years?
sure. At some
that's
point,
10 years of extra net time.
People get better at competing.
Yeah.
You compete all the time. You're just better at competing. You're
Yeah.
better at winning. You've
Right.
mastered. You've lost.
Better at the
and
pressure.
You've figured out how.
Of course, the
deal with the
experience
fear.
in anything too. You always like do one time, okay, let's try one more time, and then it's easier. One more time, and then at some point, just get automatic, and then you just go for it. It's like natural. You see, boom, opportunities there, and just go and flow better. You know, you don't need to stop and think. You just act all the
just
time.
A little bit faster. A little bit
It's
better
faster.
answers, yeah.
I think it's like you're comparing like a normal driver car here and Formula One pilot. The guy, they both drive, but one it's like pushing in the limits, is studying how much can I go at that turn and how fast can I go, each tire do I need, and how much will be my weight, or how much like can I brake before. Or it's like it's in the inches, like that makes all the difference. Like in the small details, of course, the details make all the difference.
Yeah, I think
Always,
you see
like-
that out of every level of like, elite level of sport, like when you get to the NFL, the NHL or whatever, it comes down like those inches, those details. Like they put in, hundreds of hours of film prep work and super specific stuff because it gets down to that level of acuity, But one thing I want to ask you guys as both like being jiu-jitsu practitioners for a long time now, because there's probably lots of guys listening to this who train jiu-jitsu. What do you do specifically to keep your bodies healthy? I mean, injuries do happen, but what do you guys try to do just to keep yourself healthy and not, because jiu-jitsu, you can get these different injuries, chronic injuries as well, just by the nature of the sport. What do you guys try to do to kind of keep your bodies feeling good for doing, so you can do this your whole life?
I laughy.
What?
I laugh.
Okay. Like you need to have a good food every day, like organic, all this stuff. So it's gonna make you healthy. You need to sleep good too. It's another things that everybody knows, but you really need to do that. I do a lot of workout. Like at some point, I have some small injury in my lower back, in my vertebrae. How do you say that?
Yeah.
And I was looking for Pilates. And Pilates, everybody think, oh, this is for old people or just for ladies. And man, this Pilates is incredible. Like all the consciencia?
Conditioning?
Conscientious, like
Consciousness?
conscious about your body, like how much you feel the muscles and how you can control them. It's impressive. I never had this in Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
And the Pilates just helping my back problem, and I also increase my jiu-jitsu, like pushing another level, the control of my body and all the stuff is really good. So you always need to care about stretching your body. When, like for me now, like when I feel some pain, sometimes I put the ice or take some times away from the mat. So I'm not gonna rest on like 100%. I can call the blue belts and just do some light sparring or just the drills. So you need to be smart and kind of administrate your body, like,
So
like a business.
to it,
Listen to it, exactly.
Yeah.
So
not just
sometimes,
ignoring it.
like everybody when is young, just push yourselves to the limit, and sometimes breaks your body.
Yeah.
It's part of the experience, but you don't need that. Like I say that to my students, hey, come, you're tired, you should rest now and not train. Some things like that. Sometimes the guy is lazy and don't want to, but then you need to push him for the competition and stuff, and make him go to another level and of mindset and everything.
Right.
But yeah, always like listen to your body for sure is the best thing. And it's hard sometimes to listen to your body, but
Especially when you're competitive like you are, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep going even when you're injured.
Yeah, so for sure. But I think you need to keep your ego away, because that's not gonna help you for sure. But you need to like preserve your body as much as you can. And when you go to the competition, then you give your 100% and a little bit more. If you need to, okay, he's extending my knee. Can I deal with that? 10 more seconds to be the world champion. it's okay he hurt my knee and I got the gold medal. Okay, let's do it. Let's go relax and let's see what's going to happen. And then you win. But I will not do that in a train session. I go, okay, tap, let's start another one. Right. Let's see figure out what I did wrong and just start again. And
so training really smart then too, eh?
Yes, for sure.
I think you two guys are the guys to ask that question too.
Oh man.
You guys are the ones who really know the answers to that one. Yeah.
Well, we do a lot of stuff for our bodies.
With Tiger Cuts.
Well, Mike was.
I think you said doing Pilates work or yoga work, which is not just stretching. It's actually a very, very core engaging. And like you were describing how you get like really fine motor control. So you're learning how to engage different parts of your core that you don't really consciously do when you're just training jiu-jitsu. You're not thinking about, is my core engaged when I'm grappling? But when you're doing those Pilates or yoga exercises, you have to like really focus on that's how I engage that part of my core. And so you learn a lot. You're always learning different ways you can control and move your body. And it just gives you more awareness with your body, Now
that said, with the whole, awareness piece and training smart, I want to hear about the crazy training stories. Like, what are some of the times when you were just like training for 10 hours straight, or one of your more harder periods? Because it seems like almost everybody who excels at any kind of sport or any martial art, they do have to go through a period of like kind of toughening, essentially, too. Yeah. And you have to have the toughness too. Mm-hmm. And the only way to get that toughness a lot of times is by pushing yourself to those limits. Do you have any experiences like that? Yeah,
I had one interesting one. Like at one time, we had like 2 tournaments in the same weekend in São Paulo. And then I decided to compete in both tournaments and in my category and also the open class. So I did almost like 20 fights in the weekend. So first I fought the first federation. I won the open class. Then I drive to the other tournament, fought the category. Then the next day I came back for the first federation, beat the guys in my category. Then I drive all the way to the other tournament, and then I got second place in the open class. Actually, Cobrinha was there competing too. Oh, cool. Yeah, and I think he lost against Gabriel Napão. This guy's huge, he's a monster. He's in the UFC. He's very heavy. So I was kind of in my 20 fight of the week. And I did pretty well. I won the open class in the first federation. I beat really good guys. I won my category. I won the category in the other federation. And then I got second place. And I lost by points to this guy that's way bigger than me and maybe did only 5 fights during the week. And that was awesome. Like, and I didn't hurt myself.
So you didn't get hurt.
Amazing experience. And of course, for my
your mental toughness.
Mental toughness was pretty good. Like, and sometimes to push you in a limit, go like run or go like and do some sprints in the up the hill or stairs.
Like pushing yourself.
Sometimes it's good. Like you almost dying doing exercises. It's good. Like I see that you can do that.
I got a good story from Sao Paulo that was cool. And Tarsis was there as well. One time we had a Shogun Rua. Do you guys know? Obviously, you guys know Shogun, very famous fighter. Yep. And so I'm in Sao Paulo, and these guys are beasts, like absolute killers. And this is what you were saying a minute ago. How would Nate Diaz do against Tarsis? And so Shogun Rua comes in, and he's a hero of mine. He's a Pride legend. Like this guy, obviously a UFC legend and Pride, comes in, and I'm just like, holy shit! Look who's here! Oh my God, give me an autograph or whatever. So he lines up, just regular student. And he's like 20th in line because there's so many higher ranked guys than him, which is crazy already, right?
Right.
And so Fabio puts him in groups, and if Fabio does that in the training, he puts you where you belong. So you know what I mean, like puts you with the guys who you can have great roles with or whatever. And so there was 11 like top tier black belts there that day, and so it was Tarsis and then 10 guys, which included Shogun. And he put them in, so there was like 5 pairs. So there's 10 of them, 5 pairs, and they all fought each other. And it was, as soon as you submit somebody, that guy goes off. And then so you get a break if you get submitted until somebody else gets submitted, and then you go back in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So they did that for 45 minutes, and Shogun was off the whole time. It was just like, he just kept going out. He didn't even stand a chance.
Wow.
That's the freaking level, man. So I'm sitting there and there's like my childhood hero. And I'm just like, oh my God, let's see what Shogun can do. And it's just like submitted at will. Just like, and you're just like, that's the difference. That's the level.
Crazy. Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, like, when you're focused just on the one martial art versus, mixed martial arts, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, man, as much as I want to keep this going, we do have to get you to your classes today.
Yeah, I got to go to
So
Too bad.
we're going to wrap this up. But for everyone who is in Vancouver and want to check out East Van BJJ, it's eastvanbjj.com. It's, you can try your first week for free.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool opportunity.
You don't need anything. You just got to show up. First week's
cool.
Free.
You don't need to
take care of you, hold your hand, you're a beginner.
That's so cool.
We'll
The best way to start. And then if something you want to do, it's unlimited training for $149 a month. Again, this is like the highest level school, one of the best in Canada. So, I mean, congratulations to you and what you've done from 2013 to now. Like,
thank you, brother.
Tremendous amount of work, man. You and Joe have put into that club.
Captain Joe.
He made it happen with you.
My life.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And
Tarsis, one last thing for you too. Is there anyone you want to kind of say hello to in Brazil in case they hear this?
Sorry, I didn't.
And is there anybody you want to say hello to in Brazil?
Oh yeah, everybody. I miss my friends. I miss my family, my mother, my brother, my dog, Django. I miss him so much. And yeah, I can't wait to come back, guys, and have like a really tough train. I can't wait to go and to the moon, to the worlds this year, and try to get the gold one more time. It's gonna be awesome. And
amazing.
If you're on Instagram, that's Tarsis JJ, TARSISJJ. That's for Instagram. Facebook as well. Facebook for East Van BJJ. Or Walter, you can find Walter and connect with him there. So check them out. And guys, thanks for coming on. Really,
Can I do one more shout out?
Yeah, of course.
I want to do a shout out to Dave Boyce, who was speaking very highly of me the other day on your podcast. And my goal as a kid was to be a professional skateboarder and get sponsored by RDS. And I didn't quite get to that level with skateboarding. But it was such an honor for him to talk about. He's a big inspiration of mine, and for sure, and him and his brother.
We'll tag you, because he's following me on Instagram. We'll tag you right now. I'm going to say, hey, Dave, you got to get Walter on This Boy's Life.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude. Get me on there, man.
Yeah. All right, Dave, you've heard it.
Yeah.
You've been called out for the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Sweet, guys. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so
Super
much.
Fun.
Thank you.
And
thank you,
we'll have to
guys.
do it again sometime. Tarsis, whenever you're back in town.
Yeah, let's do it.
Come for a float.
And come, and we'll come roll with you, and you can. I want to feel what it's like to roll with the world champion.
Please,
I'll get my
come.
Instagram shot then.
I'm gonna come back and
You guys want to
this
take some
summer
pics
for
or
sure.
anything?
Yeah, we'll do one before you go.
Okay.
So.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. If you're still here, thanks for listening. And VancouverReal.tv is our website. Check it out. Until next time.
To whatever is.
To whatever is.
That's a mess.